Yeah, Homer led the league in tackles with 85. The deep ball for Darius Prince, and Philadelphia's on the board first.
On the draw, this is Bryson Allen. And Allen weaving his way all the way down to the 22.
10-yard line, 5. Mayfield, dancing all around. Throw as far as he can throw it. Jump ball coming. Crazy stuff. Not this time.
And you want to be a wide receiver, you're going to have to take a little bit of a hit like that as Brown got him in that shoulder, but watch. Those are teeth.
Do we have a dentist on staff here?
All right, we're back for another episode of Around the Indoor Football World, and we're back to our regular lineup. Ducon is joining us once again, and on top of that, we will be covering the AIF once again as well. Last week, we kind of took a little bit of a detour, did a little AAL2 coverage. It was very fun, but we're going to circle back around to the AIF, the NAL, and the IFL today. Unfortunately, our AIF guest will not be able to join us. He is sick, so best wishes to Mr. Coble with Harrisburg Stampede. We're hoping he gets better quick, and maybe we can get him on in a future episode. We will be joined by Jason Whitaker, the quarterback for the Colorado Spartans, and then also the linebacker from the Sioux Falls Storm, Amin Black. So definitely stay tuned. They should be joining us here shortly, but we're going to go ahead and start with some AIF coverage, and then we'll go ahead and get right into it. So you guys are a little bit more informed on the AIF than I am. Is there any topics that you wanted to touch on in particular? Krish, you got anything?
Obviously, right, like, we talk a lot about on the show about, like, stability of leagues and, like, everything, and I see a lot of people out there talking about one specific league, and like all the attention is like driven towards them, obviously, because they're loud, the big brand. But I like to find like the little details of like certain situations, and I was informed earlier this week that there was some trouble in Cedar Rapids, right? And I listened to it. I listened to whoever told me that. I was, very respectful of it. I said, okay, let me look into it a little more. Let's see what I can find. And I found enough information that I felt like I could put something out, right? So I did. And, like, I'm the one who put it out. So I put it out, and as soon as I put it out, I had two players, actually multiple players, more than two, send me messages. I jumped on a phone call with them, and like some of the things they told me, it's like it's unacceptable, like really unacceptable. Not being fed, not being housed. Obviously, you confront an owner about not feeding their players, they're gonna say they fed them. What are they gonna say? I didn't feed my players. I didn't pay my players. Obviously, they're gonna say they did it, right? Like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna openly come clean to that, because that's like a horrible thing to do. So it's pretty bad, and obviously right now I feel confident saying the organization is going to not play in the AIF for the remainder of the season, right, from what I've been told and everything. And so, it goes for a certain period of time where it's unacceptable. Now, if they leave, the AIF is at 4 teams, right? You started with 8. You know what I mean? So now you're at 4. With Wheeling leaving to the AL2, which I think Wheeling could easily play in the AIF. If you look at Wheeling's travel, right, you look at Wheeling pays players $250 to $270 a game with a $50 win bonus. Every single player on that team makes that. They're the only paying team in that league, right? The AIF entry fee is 10 times smaller than that of the IFL and the NAL. So you could have easily played in the AIF, easy, right? With the travel, they travel to Maryland. They're traveling to Dallas later in the season. Like, the AIF travel would have been closer. So I think they could have played. But it's because they were under previous ownership and they left. And now the ownership, they got good owners. And the owners who own them now own the Atlanta Havoc, who played in the AL too. So, like, they're experienced owners. They know what they're doing, right? So it's sad, right? And, like, I really hope Cedar Rapids, doesn't fold. But I'm going to err on the side that they will fold and they won't play. So.
I mean, definitely some concerns there. Obviously, we posted about it, and just for anybody who's watching, we do double check all of our information with multiple sources before it goes out. So this is probably stuff that is fairly on point. We are very, very particular about not trying to put out misinformation because we never want to harm a franchise that doesn't deserve it. And obviously, we want to inform the players that are out there that are not aware of what's going on to help them make better decisions to, sculpt their career moving forward. So, kudos to Krish on getting that information out there. I know it's tough. It's not necessarily what you want to hear about teams. And hopefully, if anything, it spurs the correct actions to get the team back on track, if anything. We're not here to destroy teams. But at the end of the day, these players are affected by what goes on with these teams. And there's a big reason why we want to give them the necessary information they need to, again, make the proper decisions with their careers. Before we go too much further into that subject, Dukan, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I wondered if I could say something about it. So this is always a hard discussion to have. And one of the things I like about our relationship is that we can disagree and still love each other. And it's really hard because there's the player's perspective and then there's the owner's perspective, and almost always they're different. And one of the things I noticed about us three is you guys have really good connections with players and a really good perspective from the player's point of view. And there is so much good from that. And I have more of a better relationship with owners and GMs. I wish I had a better relationship with players, but I did look into this, and at least from the GMs and owners perspective, they say they're fine. Cedar Rapids, they say they're just fine. It's common for players to feel mistreated, and it's common for owners to feel mistreated by the players. And unfortunately, that's a perspective thing. With respect to players, these guys are sacrificing so much of their lives, putting their bodies on the line and getting paid peanuts, and I totally get that. And at the same time, owners are using profits from their other businesses just to make it through a season. And they're doing everything they can to get money to players, but because of expenses and workers' comp and hotels and food and all that kind of stuff, they don't have a whole lot that they can give. So if they were to increase the pay for the players, most cases they wouldn't have a team and we wouldn't have a sport to follow. And so it is difficult. And I'm not siding with the side of the players or the side of the owners. What I am saying is there's always two perspectives. And the players that Krish talked to, my heart goes out to them. I don't want anybody to be mistreated. And I agree, Krish. If they are being mistreated, it is unacceptable. But one of the things that I've noticed in this industry is the number one problem, or sin, if you will, is the lack of communication between players and owners. I hear so many players that are like, they just want answers, and they're texting owners or GMs just wanting answers about stuff, and they're not getting responses. And if there's anything I can say is, guys, be willing to talk to each other, even if, and this is a good message to owners and GMs, even if you don't have an answer for the player, respond and say, I don't have an answer right now. I'm looking into it. I'll get back with you. Just respond something. If we can improve the communication between everybody, there's going to be a lot less of these rumors just flying around, because if you don't have communication, what you end up with is speculation. A player's going to think, oh, well, if I'm not getting paid or if I'm not getting the things that I need, then that means the ownership doesn't have money and they're about to cave. So, and again, I don't know the exact situation in Cedar Rapids. It's just when I reached out to the GM and talked to him about a little bit of what was going on, everything seemed fine. And he could just be like, oh, no big deal. It's just a player that's spouting things off. I don't really know. But what I do want to say is I think that they're fine, but my heart goes out to players who feel mistreated and feel like that they could have things better, and that's just the nature of our industry. Communication's key.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
totally. And like, my biggest issue is you can pay your guys, right? Like you can pay them. But like if you're paying them 250 and that's what you pay, that's I fine. They knew that going into it, right? But when you say you're gonna pay someone on Tuesday night and they don't receive that paycheck till, week and a half later, I mean I'm dealing with this with an NAL team right now, right? Like 250 this day, we're gonna pay you, no pay. Right? So you can't like lie to people and say you're gonna pay them on a certain day and not pay them. And then when a guy's inactive in the NAL or IFL, they get $50 for the entire week. So, if you don't even get that $50 on time, it's kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with you, Krish, so much on that. It's heartbreaking when that kind of stuff happens. But there's one other thing I ought to point out here, and that is there is a team right now that has paid close to 30 to 40,000 more in lodging expenses because of players being irresponsible, smoking weed and bringing people into hotels they shouldn't be bringing in and making a mess. And it's not that these players are bad people. It's just that owners end up having to fork over a lot more money to take care of disgruntled hotels or apartments or whatever because players weren't being responsible. Now, if the owners were taking better care of the players, maybe they'd be more responsible. I don't really know. It's one of these things where everybody can improve, including you and I and Sam and whatnot. We could all improve in this industry. We all have things to work on, and it's good that you, Krish, it's good that you want to hold people to a higher standard. That's what this comes down to. We want everybody to rise to a higher standard. And so I'm coming from a place where I want to be a better reporter. I want to be more responsible with how I talk to people, but I also encourage players, be more responsible. Don't do things that are going to just run up the bill for these owners, because what happens is if the owners have to fork out so much more money to make other people happy, what they do is they end up with less money to pay you on time. And on the flip side, owners, if you say that you're going to pay on time, do your absolute best to make sure that you pay on time. I know that's hard to do in some cases, but like Krish said, these guys have bills and those have deadlines too. So my encouragement is try to be better communicators and try to prioritize your people, because if you prioritize your people, they will prioritize your product and this industry will grow.
Oh, I freaking love that sentiment. Honestly, I wish every business lived by that, because honestly, if you take care of who's working for you, generally you're going to have a happy workforce that is more prepared to do anything you ask. And I know obviously that's not what we're all about, but at the end of the day, taking care of your workers is going to pay off in the long run, because they are going to reward you with the A+ effort that you need to get where you want to go with your business. We're going to transition a little bit. I don't want to leave Jason waiting too long. So we're going to go ahead and shift over to the NAL. If you want to hear more about the AIF, let us know in the chat. We can circle back at the end of this. We've just got some deadlines in terms of getting guests on, and I don't want to make them wait too long. Jason's already been waiting for about 10, 15 minutes now. So definitely want to get him on for the interview and talk to him a little bit about Colorado. Their first win, which I was super excited about, or first regular season win that counts. Sorry, got to be specific there. They have won some games already this season, but big win coming up against Carolina, a tough opponent. But here's the man himself, as they call him, Jay Witt. How you doing this morning, sir?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Definitely. Looking forward to speaking with you. So let's just start right at the top there. I mean, you guys got your big win against Carolina this past week. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. It's always nice to win going into the bye week. as far as a team, we knew that these wins were going to come as far as how we've been playing and our chemistry, at practice and whatnot. And so the Carolina game was just, we not to, we were confident going into that game. We don't look back on it. We don't hesitate when we don't fear anyone in this league. So going into this game, we were confident. So to everyone else, to the outsiders, it made it seem like, oh, the first win. But we're confident as a collective unit, and we're ready to go.
Absolutely. Honestly, I we've been talking a lot about it at my network. Obviously, we're a little biased. I'm a Colorado guy, born and raised here. So obviously I'm going to be rooting for the Spartans. But, if you look back at the 3 regular season games you guys played before this game, you were in every game. It wasn't like you were getting blown out, and you played Omaha, you played Carolina, and you played Sioux City, the top 3 teams in the league, as of record wise currently. So, these weren't, easy opponents by any stretch. Omaha went 12-0 last year. They won a championship. Carolina was in the championship. Sioux City is a playoff team every season. So, for you guys to not only compete with them, but you only lost by 1 point to Sioux City, and then you come back against Carolina and get the win. I think this is indicative of the fact that you guys are getting things going. You're catching that momentum, kind of getting that chemistry between the team. Is there anything that's changed preparation-wise to get you this big win this past week?
Honestly, as far as generally speaking, no. Football is all about details, and I think just these past few weeks we've really been cleaning up the small stuff. Turnovers and things that have been kind of biting us in the butt, like later on in the games. So yeah, just cleaning up those things and really just getting getting the playbook more set, diving, opening, being creative with each other and allowing ideas to flow. One thing I really appreciate about Coach Shaw is that it's a collaborative thing. He if someone has a good idea, he's not afraid to use it, and I think that really gives as players safety and freedom to be expressive, and if we see something on the field, not being afraid to say something. So really thankful for Coach Shaw for being open and receptive to the players.
Absolutely. That's kind of unique to hear that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your rookie season.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so for you to have so much say and have that kind of collaborative effort with Coach Shaw, I think speaks volumes about him and his trust for you, this early in your career. Dukon, did you have any questions for Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. Jason, first of all, you're having a great season, man. I love watching you. One of the things that I'm noticing about you, there's 2 terms that come to mind. The first is pocket passer. And the second, I have forever dubbed you the king of the shovel pass, because, man, it's like a lost art, and you're bringing it back to life. I love watching when you get under pressure, and Kadarius Campbell's over there somewhere. I'm just going to shovel it over there. But I want to congratulate you on your effectiveness as a pocket passer, because one of the things that we've been seeing in the NAL is that every other quarterback is a hybrid quarterback that throws occasionally but runs a lot. And what you've been able to do is develop a relationship with your receivers, be a pocket passer, and because of that, Colorado has a lethal passing attack that is unparalleled in the league. So congratulations on that. But in particular, I wanted to ask the question, because of the rules of the NAL, they seem to favor a little bit of a running quarterback. Why is it that you have chosen specifically to focus more on the pass than the run?
Honestly, I think it's just the trust I have in my receivers. We got, Steve, league leader, Deontay, number 2, and then Khalil, who's got the best hands I've ever seen. Some of the catches he's been making in practice, and just that one back shoulder snag that he had against Sioux City, uh, like ripped a throw behind him, and he just like grabbed it with his fingertips. It was just some dogs. So I think it's just a lot of respect, a lot of trust in my guys. Um, you know, I think as a quarterback, I have this is making my guys look as good as possible. And so you know, if I throw a fade ball and it's, maybe 1 foot in front of them, I'm always thinking like, man, I need to, put it 2 feet, let them go extend, let them go, make a play. And so I think just having that mindset and the trust in the guys, um, you know, just making it work.
That's awesome. So, I mean, yeah, and you've got a great receiving core. And again, when you're under pressure, you're just really good at shoveling that thing over to Kadarius. You're doing a great job there. My next question for you is there any part of you that says, hey, people are going to key on the pass game at some point? I need to develop the run game a lot better. Is there any part of you that's concerned with the Spartans becoming too one-dimensional on offense that you're trying to switch it up?
I think we've been doing a good job. So much props to KD. He's such a team player. He works hard. He He just head down, nose to the grindstone type of guy. And just lead blocking for people, and even if he's not getting a ton of touches. But I think our one thing that we've been trying to develop is our run game, and I think we've been doing a better job at that. I've seen things like starting to open up as far as the run game goes, watching film and whatnot. And so, yeah, I think that's definitely something we've been working on, is getting our run game more involved, getting our linemen downhill. And yeah, absolutely.
One last question for you, Jason. How do you pronounce Deontay's last name?
I couldn't tell you.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Man, I do have to shout out Coach Shaw, Coach Brooks down there. I mean, if you look at these leaderboards, for the fact that Colorado is a first-year team, typically you do not see this kind of output by the players that are on the roster. And if you look right here on the leaderboard, you've got Stephen Newbold across the league. He is the top receiver in every category. You got Deontay Rarick, I hope is pronounced correctly. He's literally second in the league in every single category. And then you look, down the list a little bit more. You got Khalil Hayes, who's right there on that list as well. These three players alone have caught 18 touchdown passes out of the 22 that Jason has thrown. So, I mean, 238 yards passing a game, almost 60, 70 yards more than the next closest quarterback, which is Guy Myers. We all know that he's a very talented quarterback. So it's pretty impressive to see how this offense has moved the ball, and ultimately this team as a whole has played. I mean, to be quite honest, my bias, as Ducon knows, has me picking Colorado every single week in our pick'ems. But at the same time, I truly had the faith that they were going to get the wins. After the first couple games that I saw, I got to go see that Cedar Rapids game that they played. And, just watching them play, I could see that this was a team on the verge of like really getting where they were heading, that they were, making a few changes as we were going through the season, and that it was really starting to hit their stride. And sure enough, it only, it took a couple weeks before they finally got the regular season victory, but here we are. I mean, it's been fun to watch. It's been incredibly entertaining. And then on top of that, it's been incredibly encouraging. Because like I said, typically you don't see teams that are this new, competitive, this early. And it's been pretty awesome to see, considering everything else that's going in the NAL right now. Jason, maybe you can elaborate on this a little bit. What's the feeling for players there right now, given everything that's gone on in the NAL? I mean, I know things haven't gone the way that anybody planned, but yet here you guys are still trying to make things work. The schedule's, it's not ideal, but you still have games on the schedule. What's the feeling from the players overall?
Together, working, knowing that, North Texas, fell under before the season, stuff, the things that are happening currently, I think it just brings us together. And, our owner, Tony's, really thankful for him and the, communication he's had with us and the clarity. It's been awesome to fall under his leadership and really develop that trust, on the field, but also off the field, as far as living situations go. And it wasn't easy, and there's definitely growing pains with this new program and organization. But we've worked through it, and it's things that are stronger as a unit.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, I don't want to hold you up any longer. I really appreciate your time today. Joining us really early in the morning. I know it's 6:45 our time, so I really appreciate it once again. I know that the game was postponed this weekend, but when's your guys' next game? Is it May 18th?
Yes, sir. Next Saturday.
Next Saturday, May 4th.
May 4th. Sorry about that. Next home game is May 18th. That's what it is. I apologize. So yeah, best of luck this upcoming weekend, and hopefully you're able to get another W and continue down this progress that we've seen lately. I really think that, like I said, you guys are headed in the right direction, and a big reason why is because they brought you in. There's a lot of talent on this roster, but I literally just spoke to Tony Thompson yesterday, and the first player he brought up when he talked about the diamonds in the rough they were able to find was you. So you're definitely making an impression on everybody there and everybody in Colorado. I mean, you're already kind of becoming a little bit of a hometown hero. Hopefully we can get you back next season if you're not back outdoors where you belong. But definitely just encouraged and appreciate everything from you. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully we see you get a couple more W's before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we would love to have you back on in the future.
Let's
go Spartans.
Take care, brother.
Have a good one. Awesome. So again, that was Jason Whitaker, the quarterback for the Colorado Spartans, rookie this season, leading the NAL in multiple different categories. Really appreciate him tuning in and coming on and telling us a little bit about his story so early in the morning. I was late, so at least he showed up on time. I really appreciate that. But we are going to transition over to the IFL now. A league that has really, really grown over the past couple seasons and done a great job of getting, just legitimacy back in arena and indoor football. I mean, and stability. Stability is a big thing with the IFL that I think all of us are getting hyper-focused on now that everybody else around them has had so many issues with stability. So, kudos to the IFL and what they've been able to do. Honestly, I think there's no debate right now. They have the top league out there. But joining us today is going to be linebacker Amin Black from the Sioux Falls Storm. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm doing good.
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that you and I have tried to line this up multiple times. Last season you were playing in the European League of Football, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, the ELF. Yes, sir.
Awesome. So what's your first experience like in the IFL this year?
Well, it's definitely been a learning experience. The first 3 games, especially for the Mike linebacker position. Just learning the schemes of our defense and the rules of the IFL was really humbling for me. Just coming from the outdoors in college 2 years ago, just being able to move pre-snap and adjust to different formations is kind of hard in the IFL. Just being there stagnant in one position, in one spot on the field at all times until the ball snaps. So that's probably been the biggest adjustment or challenge, adjusting to the IFL and the IFL rules.
Absolutely. Now I'm kind of curious. I mean, the big thing that I always hear players talk about is the speed of the game. How hard was it for you to adapt to the speed of the game in the indoor football world versus playing outdoors?
The speed. Yeah, I heard like a lot of my like teammates that's here that played last year in the IFL, like Kendrick's number 23. He always the first thing he told me was like, "Yo, the speed is different." Like when I first got here, and I'm like, me as a rookie, coming from D1, I'm like, all right, I played against some guys that's fast, but it's not really the guys that are just fast. It's just the way the offensive system is set up for the IFL. It makes it faster because they're moving at all times at their top speed before the ball snaps. So seeing that speed, and then them guys are elite guys as well. So seeing that speed along with them moving before a pre-snap, it was definitely humbling to me as well. Definitely learning how to just play around it and play in it and just make plays as the game go on.
Absolutely. Dukan, do you have anything for him?
Yeah. This is kind of an interesting week for you. First of all, as of last night, there's no more teams in the East that are undefeated, but there are 3 winless teams in the East. So technically, it's kind of wide open as far as playoff positioning goes. But you guys have a unique position in that you are playing at a neutral site tonight. What's that kind of like to adjust to a whole new field and a neutral site when a juggernaut like the Mass Pirates are coming in?
Oh, it's definitely going to be a big challenge for us this week. Adjusting to the neutral site, not playing at home, driving 3 hours up to North Dakota, and also playing a juggernaut like Mass. The NFL talent that they have on their roster. It would be a big challenge for anybody in the NFL. But being though we're 0-4, we're 0-4, and we haven't got that first win of the season. Is a big challenge and a big question mark on our back. As a player, I take it as a challenge, and I know most of the players on the defense and the guys on the offense taking it as a challenge the way we practice this week, and look forward to upsetting the Mass Pirates, on the road. We just look to take on the challenge. We're not looking too far ahead. We're not worrying about next week, or we're not worrying about the second quarter. We just taking one play at a time going into that game, and I'm confident we'll come out with the win.
That's awesome, man. So what is your why? You signed with the IFL, but what is your ultimate goal playing in the IFL? Where would you like to go?
The ultimate goal, playing in the IFL, my why, my ultimate goal, me just taking care of my family back home in Philadelphia. I got a lot of brothers, I got a lot of sisters, I got a lot of nieces and nephews, a lot of cousins. So that's my why right there. Just playing at the highest level possible. And ultimate goal is reaching the NFL, inshallah. But yeah, that's the goal. Just keep going up, keep taking one game at a time, not looking too far ahead, and just keep getting better. Because at the end of the day, I'm only 2 years out of college. I'm only 25, and I know I have more to grow throughout my career. And I'm just using this not as a stepping stone, but as also a lesson in my career to be humble. Take one game at a time. You're going to lose some games, you're going to win some games, but the ultimate goal is as long as you're getting better throughout the year, and you're achieving that ultimate goal at the end of the year, you hit your goals, and that's really my goal. Just get better every day. I'm not really looking too far ahead about what's next or the CFL or UFL. I know I'm a good player on the inside. I know what I can be, and I know what I will be. So as long as I take in one play at a time and one game at a time, everything in life that I wish for will come. That's what I believe in, and that's what I know is going to happen.
Man, Sam, I like this guy. I think I need to get me a black jersey from Sioux Falls. That great response. Thank you.
I would definitely agree. Amin is an awesome guy. We've been talking for, it's been over a year.
Months. Yeah, I'm about to say it's been a year. I think I was in the ELF when we first made contact.
Yep. And actually, I think we were talking about having you on our summer showcase show with Michael Washington. Shameless plug there. You can catch that here coming up soon. EFL season's kicking off quick. And LFA is just about to wrap up, actually. So, honestly, to be completely honest, I was kind of surprised to see you turn up on an IFL roster. It seems like players typically go the other direction. I know Dukan kind of asked you a little bit on why you decided on the IFL. Was there something you saw about the league getting players to the next level that kind of attracted you to the IFL in particular?
Yeah, I think that was the number one thing after I left the ELF, and I, just starting to figure out my career and taking control of my career and not being that young player out of college and just going whatever somebody told me to go. I did a lot of research on the IFL, and I heard the AFL was coming back around too when I was in ELF, so it kind of brought my attention to the Arena League. And when I was looking around, I saw the talent that was brought up to the CFL and the guys that was brought up to the UFL to join the UFL from the IFL. And I'm looking at these guys, and I'm looking at teams like Bay Area, Quad City, Mass. The talent is all around in this league, and I think this is probably one of the most underrated leagues. Being though now that you got the UFL coming around and the AFL had a lot of hype around it, the IFL wasn't really getting that credit. But if you look at our rosters in the film, like these dudes are talented. They've been on NFL rosters, they've been on CFL rosters, they've been on UFL rosters. So I just think that talent and want to compete at the highest level possible, and it's challenged myself has really brought me to the IFL. I love to compete, and I love to just play against them dudes that think they're the top dudes, and I like to just show them who's the top dude. That's my goal.
I love that. I love that sentiment.
Yeah, I love
You
that.
got to have confidence in your ability as an athlete to perform and be elite. So I really appreciate that you think so highly of your abilities, because honestly, that's what's gotten you where you're at today. So,
Yes, sir.
IFL is a great league. It definitely has done a great job at putting a lot of players outdoors and where they want to be, especially in the UFL last season. A lot of guys made that jump. Unfortunately, due to the merger, a lot of guys had to
Yeah,
come back, but unfortunately, that was out of their control. That has nothing to do
exactly.
with the IFL. It has more to do with the UFL. But obviously, there's still many options outdoors and good options to get these players to where they want to go. So hopefully, we ultimately see you make that jump eventually. Have you had any contact with like CFL teams or anything like that since you've gotten in the IFL?
Yeah, I talked to BC Lions this offseason. I haven't talked to them recently, but I talked to the BC Lions and I talked to the DC Defenders in the offseason as well. But like you said, with the merger of everything and everything the numbers got cut short. I wasn't one of them guys that was brought into training camp or anything. So like I said, I'm just still waiting for the opportunity to get brought up, and inshallah it happened this year or happen next year. Whenever it happens, I'll be ready for my opportunity. And just to compete.
Absolutely. Dukan, do you have anything else for him?
I just got to say, I have the utmost respect for you, brother. You're
I
a very
appreciate it.
mature player. You've got your focus right where it needs to be, and I can see you going far.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm curious, did you catch the games last night, Amin?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of the Green Bay game. Being though, I was asleep like 8 o'clock. I'm like an old man. Like I go to sleep. So I caught a little bit of the Green Bay game, but not too much. I caught a little bit of the Gunslingers game as well, but not too much of that game. I saw the Gunslingers actually beat Frisco. But yeah, I caught a little bit of both games. Yeah.
Definitely. Great games on both fronts. We had one-score
Agreed.
games at both games. We had Green Bay ultimately continue their streak. Good on Green Bay. Honestly, I wasn't sure what to think about their roster this year, but they have come out firing. They're now 4-1, if I'm not mistaken.
They're tied for the lead in the East, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
Green Bay style. Yep, they 4-1.
40-33 over the Iowa Barnstormers, which made a quarterback change recently, which was surprising. And then San Antonio recently has got on a little bit of a streak. They were originally had not won a game, and then last week they got their first win. They defeated Frisco last night, 54-52, to continue their little roll. I'm curious, when you look at the overall outlook of the league right now, is there a team that you see that you just, if you were to beat any one team in the league, who would it be? Let's put it that way.
I think it start this week with Mads at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. I think we upset Mads this week. My personal opinion. I think that's the team to beat. I think roster down the roster, up and down the roster, they're the most talented. And at the end of the day, they're in our conference as well. We played them another time. We played them one more time at Boston. So we got like a little 3-game series with them, and they're up 1-0 on us. So going into this game, trying to tie the series up, before we head back home and play at home again next week against Quad City. I think we get this win this week and upset a lot of people just based off our preparation and our hard work that we put in practice. I think guys are hungry for a win. I think we're a young team. Don't get it wrong. A lot of us is rookies, including myself. But we're a young team, but we're hungry. And we, if you look at the film, we're competitive in every game, and we don't lay down. So I think this weekend gets smashed. They're going to come in sleeping on us, and I think we're going to wake them up and wake the IFL up in these next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. For anybody who's watching that is not aware, you can catch all IFL, NAL, and AIF games on YouTube for free. Make sure you subscribe to all those channels. The AIF channel is a little bit hard to find. I believe it's American Indoor Football 2024, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely make sure that you search that in particular. But other than that, this is amazing. Honestly, these indoor football leagues continue to produce great talent. They continue to bring in top talent. And the IFL is only getting stronger. I think year after year, we've watched them continue to grow. And it's really been an impressive growth by the IFL. But at the same time, it hasn't been too much. They've been very methodical about how they add teams. They've been very on top of, finances of these teams and stuff like that have brought in, lasting franchises that have been very, very conducive to continuing that growth going forward. We've got almost 60 people tuning in right now to hear more about Amin Black's story. So if you are tuning in right now, make sure you hit the like button on no matter what platform you're catching us on right now. Again, this right next to me is my co-host Dukan. He runs Arena Football Statement, is Zio Productions on YouTube. I really, really encourage you to check out his content. I'm a firm believer he's the best in the game. He may not say that, but he is. So we'll just go ahead and go with that. He's a very humble man. Michelle writes in our private chat, there's a little bit of confusion here. We got a couple people backstage watching, but whoever picks Amin up is getting a great player. And then Kenneth J. McDuffie says, congratulations, baby bro. Proud of you. And then we also have Cameron McPherson turning in. What I like to say about the indoor game is that you don't have to be fast, but you have to play fast. No time for indecision. And that is a great point, Cameron. That's actually probably why this man below us is so damn good in the IFL, because he's got those instincts that he's developed over time and kind of can read what an offense is about to do. Amin, any final thoughts for you before we get you out of here and let you get on with your day? I know you're probably already traveling, trying to get ready for the game.
Yeah, we're on our way to our team buses right now. But just gotta say shout out to my mom that's in the chat. She saved my life. We've been through a lot growing up, and she got me through a lot, getting me to Villanova. Keeping me on the right track, and I'm blessed to have her. And shout out to my brother Kenneth McDuffie that's in the chat as well. He's a good chef, by the way.
Tuning in. We really appreciate you guys tuning in to listen to Amin here. Come on and talk with us. And then Krish has one more question for you. He says, how is the energy around the team despite being 0-5? Are you guys encouraged? Do you see something, that, keeps you invested in the team moving forward?
Well, we're not 0-5. We're 0-4. But like I said, we're rookies. We're a young team. We're one of the youngest teams in the league with a young quarterback. Like I said, the energy around the team is guys are hungry. Guys want to win. Guys want to compete, whether it's a win or a loss at the end of the game. Like I said, if you're watching our games, we don't lay down for no team. Doesn't matter if it's Mass or doesn't matter if it's Quad City. We don't lay down. The energy is win, and expect that this week. Expect that tonight. We will win, and we will win in dominant fashion. And that's all and that's the energy around the organization. Just win. Find a way to win. However we got to do it. Let's get our first win, and let's get this thing rolling.
I got to say something here. So, I mean, nice response to say, actually, we're 0-4, but my brother Krish, he's well aware you're 0-4, but he's a big time Mass fan. So he's kind of like predicting the future that you're going to be 0-5.
Okay. I love it.
Love you,
I
Krish.
love it. I love it.
He's actually
Nice
a
stuff.
coaching intern with the Massachusetts Pirates,
Yes,
so
he
he's
is.
got a little bit of a rooting interest there. It's nothing personal, I assure
Yeah,
you.
it's friendly trash talk. That's what that is.
Exactly. One more question before you get out of here. I'm curious, how has the transition? I know you weren't with Sioux Falls last year, so if you're not comfortable answering this question, I completely understand. But how was the transition in the coaching department? Obviously Curtis Riggs, one of the best to ever do it, ultimately retired after the 2023 season and championship trip. So moving into 2024, they have a new head coach. How has the organization kind of responded to this head coach? And is it a situation where all the players have bought in?
Yeah. Andre, Coach Fields is a big piece of what's keeping us going and keeping us tight. He know how to win. He's a Hall of Famer in his league. He been around the program when they was winning a lot of championships, and he knows how to win. So I think at this point, when we're 0-4, he's just keeping guys on edge and keeping things competitive. I wasn't here last year, so I don't really know how things was run last year. But I know this year, I know guys are competitive. But at the end of the day, like I say, guys are young as well. We have a lot of rookies. We have a rookie receivers. We have a rookie O line, three rookie O linemen. So, like I said, the development is the important part of us winning games and us learning each other out. Like we said, we're only 4 games in, and some of us only 4 games in IFL as in our career. So just giving us time and Coach Fields have given us time, and he have been patient with us on learning the rules and learning how to win in this league. And sooner or later, I'm pretty sure we'll start getting that job done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Amin. We really appreciate your time today. Best of luck tonight. Hopefully you get that W.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Have a great one.
Thank you.
So as you guys can tell, Amin's literally traveling, trying to get prepared for tonight. Still made the time to join us. We really appreciate him for that. I wish you the best of luck, Amin. Thank you to all of his family members that tuned in. Speaking of which, I got some comments I missed here. Omar Black says, congratulations, bro. He also says big W coming today, which hopefully they do get it. One of the big things about the IFL that I love is the parity. It truly is any given Sunday a team can win. And hopefully this is the Saturday that we ultimately see the Sioux Falls get their first win this season. Although Mass is a very, very tough team. That's no easy win by any stretch. Honestly, probably one of the most talented teams in the league. Although Sioux Falls has plenty of talent too. Their record is not indicative of the type of talent they have on that roster right now. Ducon, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Man, I'm really grateful to you, Sam. That's my final thought. Thank you so much for putting this together. I know it's a lot of work, especially when you're starting at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. So all you guys watching, you should definitely give some thanks to Sam, because he's a dedicated individual to this sport, and I thank him for it.
I appreciate that. And the feeling's mutual, sir. I mean, honestly, it's been a pleasure getting to know you and many of the other content creators in this world. I honestly think that I've been very lucky to create lasting friendships with a lot of people that do cover this sport. And I want to say that I think it's a lot more amicable relationships across the sport than it is in others. I think a lot of times there's too much competition between media outlets that cover these different sports and stuff. And I think this show by design is supposed to bring some people together and, cover the sport for better, hopefully give it a little bit bigger platform for all these players, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's all about these players. It's all about giving them a platform to continue their careers and hopefully springboard to the next level or wherever they want to go. If the IFL is exactly where they want to be, if the NAL is where they want to be, that's okay too. We're not trying to force any players to go anywhere they want to be or don't want to be. And I'm a firm believer in building a brand wherever you're at. So definitely think that these leagues are great opportunities for any player. And if you're a player watching and you want to know how to get into one of these leagues, don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us that you saw on this show today. I guarantee we can all get you in touch with people that need to be in touch with to get where you want to go as well. So definitely love that.
Final thought.
Go for it.
Sorry, Sam. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But yes, I just want to piggyback off of your sentiments here a little bit. And I want to tell any of the players, coaches, owners that are watching that as a fan, I'm eternally grateful to you for your sacrifices, because this is a beautiful, beautiful sport. And without your sacrifices, I myself and many others would not get the amount of entertainment and pleasure that we're getting. It's so kind of you to put your bodies on the line, to put your money on the line, and give us this entertainment. Yes, we understand that the ultimate goal is to get to where you can provide for your families better. And that's why we're here, right, Sam? I mean, look, we're fans, but we also realize, hey, you guys are sacrificing so much. We want to be pillars in your journey. We want to bolster you up, help engineer your journey a little bit more. And so we hope that owners, coaches, players can have better communication, that there can be a more love between you guys and more support. And like Sam said, we don't want to be competitive in the way that we cover the game. We want to actually join you in building the game, because if the industry grows together rather than against each other, then what happens is it brings more exposure to you as a player, to you as an owner. It brings more exposure to everybody. Everybody benefits. So even you journalists or content creators that are watching, I strongly encourage you, let's work together. Let's build together, because the only way that these players are going to actually get more money at the end of the day in this sport is if all of us band together for the benefit of the whole, rather than focus on me.
Oh man, Krish, you always got a comment that you got to throw in that is just poking the bear. Happy to be friends with you as well, Big Boy Sports. Shout out to him who joined us last episode. He will definitely be on again before the end of the season, probably multiple times. Just want to throw that out there. Make sure you subscribe to Big Boy Sports. Again, make sure you subscribe to Zio Productions on YouTube. Follow Arena Football Statement on Facebook as well. And then please do also follow Shady Sports Network. And then also subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitter, wherever your favorite social media platform is. But ultimately, really appreciate everybody who tuned in today. I can't believe that we had 70 plus viewers on this show today. It seems like it grows every single week, and it's because of great people that are tuning in right now. So again, please do me a huge solid, no matter where you're catching this episode, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you next Saturday at 6 a.m. Mountain Time, 8 a.m. Eastern, for another episode involving the IFL, NAL, and AIF. Until next time, I'm going to leave you guys with a word from our sponsor for this episode, which is D's Place. If you need any videography or photography help, here you go.
Follow your passion first. First. It's the most fun thing in the world. You get up in the morning excited about what you're doing. And you got to be really honest with yourself about it. And you got to sit there and ask yourself, okay, what am I truly passionate about? What do
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.